Hello, ladies.
Hey,
Hello.
Auntie.
Everybody.
Welcome to episode 23 of Auntie Listen. And we're going to start with our quote. Energy can't be created or destroyed, and energy flows. It must be in a direction with some kind of internal, emotive, spiritual direction. It must have some effect somewhere. And that quote is by Mr. Matrix himself, Keanu Reeves. What do you guys think of the quote?
What Keanu know about that?
Hello, he
No
was
shade against
the
Keanu because
Matrix.
I love him. I know he was just, but he didn't even write the book. I'm just saying. I just heard a lot of musts and shit and all this stuff. Like he was an authority on it. But
He
I ain't gonna
is.
give it too much because I love Keanu Reeves. I'm just saying. I thought it was gonna be like some intellectual, and I was gonna challenge that anyway because I still heard a bunch of must be this and that and stuff. But all right, go ahead, Keanu. I don't know what he didn't study. My bad. Let me fall back.
I I thought you was finna quote the old school, the one they do in elementary. Energy cannot be destroyed, but merely passed from one vessel to the next.
Nope, we totally went a whole different way.
Sure did. I was expecting to hear Sir Isaac Newton or Jesus or somebody. But you said Keanu Reeves. Oh my God.
Yep,
From the
Keanu
Matrix.
Reeves
You didn't even
from
say
the
the
Matrix.
author, the original author, the sister that
No, no,
actually
no, no,
wrote
no.
the
I'm not.
stuff.
No, I'm not saying that this quote is from the Matrix. I said Mr. Matrix himself because when I think of Keanu Reeves, I think of the Matrix. Even though he's
Oh,
done like a billion other movies,
yeah.
he's everything. When I see him, no matter what
Uh-huh.
movie he's in, John Wick, whatever, I see the Matrix. So, yeah,
But
I
that's
just
something
love
that
the
he
Matrix.
said. The quote is by him or not?
Yeah, no, it's his quote, but I'm just clearing up that it's not a quote from the Matrix. I said Mr. Matrix himself because he was the Matrix. So I
Yeah,
just
that was
love
my
that.
understanding. That's why I
But that
said
ain't even his quote. It ain't
it's
even
not
here.
even by the woman that actually wrote the book that took them to court because it was
But it
her
ain't
idea.
it
It
ain't
was
Yeah, no,
Keanu's either.
no, but
it's
no,
funny.
that's no. I'm just saying this quote is not from the Matrix at
Right.
all.
Right.
Yeah,
But it's what I'm
That
saying
would
is
have
it's
even
not
been different.
Keanu's either. It's
I'm
not
just saying.
Keanu's quote either.
Well, his name was attached to the
No,
quote, so
homeboy just he
Funny.
was reading. He was reading. He was
well,
reading.
his
We gonna get off his
his
back because I love Keanu ever since the
me
'80s
No, that's
too.
my dog too. That's my dog.
when he
Ever
was
since
Me
Bill and
too.
Ted's
I was about to say, ever since
Excellent
Bill and Ted,
Adventure.
that's been my dog. Bill and
I don't
Ted.
know. I don't know
He's a
about
cutie.
that one. I just love the yeah.
And I hear
So
he's a very nice person in real life as well.
He
But
really
yes,
yeah,
I
is.
we
He
hear
gonna
had a
get
that
lot
into
of
it.
too.
heart.
We gonna
So
yeah.
Poochie, Auntie Janisha, you
Woo.
remember how the same thought process of what we were talking about with Raphael Sadiq and all the hardships around his life?
Yes.
Keanu has the same experience.
All right. So that's his quote. He came up with the whole scientific study of it. All of a sudden, that's how I feel. Y'all leave him alone right now.
Okay, Auntie Marva, we're gonna turn it over to you for announcements.
All right, y'all. Let me get these announcements going here. So, thank you for joining us here at Auntie Listen Podcast. Um, we want to make sure that you all like, subscribe, comment, and share everything every time you join us. Not just today, even the ones that you go back and watch and you forget. Oh my God, I missed this one. Like, comment, subscribe, and share that one too. Send it to your friends, send it to your aunties, send it to your cousins, send it to your pastor. Let everybody join. Okay. We wanted to make sure you follow us on YouTube, Auntie Listen Podcast. Follow us on Instagram, Auntie Listen. Follow us on the X, Twitter platform, Auntie List 52888, TikTok, Auntie Listen, Patreon, Auntie Listen, and you can join our Patreon For early access, it's only $5. That's the same cost of a nice cup of coffee from one of the expensive places, and you get access to our stories, all of our shares, our conversations before everybody else get it. And then we also want you to join our affiliate links. What is the affiliate links? Amazon, Bath and Body Work. I'm sorry, Bath and Bed Bath and Beyond, Target, Walgreens, Walmart, and the Great Discovery. So go ahead, do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Share those links with the other people too, because you get some nice discounts. And last but definitely not least, get your merch. Get your merch. Get your merch. What do you mean? Get your merch. Get your merch is what I said. Get you a t-shirt that says Auntie Listen Podcast. Get you a bag. Get you a mug. You wanna get that stuff so when you come and join us, you feel right at home, right with us. You dig? So we look forward to you joining us here each and every month. And thank you for being our audience. Back to you, Auntie.
You forgot an
Thank
announcement
Oh, what's the
you,
announcement?
because we have four aunties on the line today.
Auntie Tamira is busy back today, baby.
Auntie
She's back.
Auntie,
Michelle.
Auntie
She's back.
Tamira is back. Tamira
Do
Michelle.
yeah. Hey, Auntie.
Auntie Michelle.
Where she went.
I don't
All
know.
right, yeah, goodness gracious. No, I'm gonna tell. I am blinking really hard because I was bullied to come back. Okay, so just
Oh,
to let
It
y'all
wasn't
know,
uh-uh.
blink.
I was
It wasn't no
threatened, I was
bullying, girl.
bullied,
Ain't
I
nobody
was
twist
all
your
those
arm.
things. I was pulled in, and I am in the basement, tied up. So y'all go ahead and what I'm saying, get in touch with who you can. Help a sister out.
So bullying is what aunties do, and aunties are the only ones that
Mm,
get
mm,
passes
mm,
with the bullying
mm,
situation
mm, mm,
Okay,
because it
but it was
benefits
mm,
everybody when aunties bully.
it was
mm.
okay. I didn't
That's what
see it
that
as
means.
bullying. I saw it as strongly suggesting.
Strong armly
I'm just gonna
suggesting.
say
That's right.
that Auntie Marva she didn't have anything to do with it. It was the Capricorns, but she did
Woo,
go
woo.
along with the ride. So hey, that's
Man,
how
guilty by
that's how
association.
yeah boy. But them other two, yeah, clean, clean,
Wow.
That's that
clean,
Capricorn
clean.
Cancer connection right there. Everybody know that.
Mm,
Good
Right?
cop, bad cop.
mm,
What? We need the balance of the Aquarius.
mm,
I just
mm,
don't know
mm,
what you I
mm.
just don't know what you mean.
We don't
Anyway,
see we don't
any
like bullies, people.
uh
We sure
any
enough don't like to be told what we gonna do,
And
people.
we're sorry about it. Now let's move.
Oh
Come on,
God.
let's go.
I don't know nothing about
we,
no bullying.
we
But anyway,
apologize. Mission accomplished.
we gonna head on over to New Zealand for our food around the world. And in
Oh
New
Lord.
Zealand, we gonna have a jelly slice.
Okay.
Now, equally popular in New Zealand and Australia, this colorful dessert consists of a cookie base that is topped with a creamy custard and finished off with a layer of smooth jelly. The custard is typically lemon flavored and based on condensed milk with the top is usually while the top is usually prepared with vibrant red colored jelly or fruit jams, mainly associated with festive occasions and family gatherings. Jelly slices are always served well chilled. See, I don't like custard or jelly, so I won't be having that one.
Oh, that sounds amazingly disgusting, Auntie. Where do you find these things? I'm so sorry, New Zealand. Y'all some good people because y'all real chill and laid back. But Auntie, you are
Now,
not helping.
I don't know. I'm not the sweets person, but it sounds interesting to me because I do like lemon. If I
Lemon.
eat
I
a
knew you.
custard,
I
Yes,
I
I
knew you was
love
gonna
it
jump
lemon.
on it. I
does.
knew you
Yeah.
was
And then
gonna
it
say
depends
that.
on the flavoring of the custard. Even though they said red, that could be anything in the black community
Bruh.
because that's how we
Yeah.
name our flavors by the color
No,
sometimes.
the
So,
jelly.
Well,
Yeah,
y'all got the
no,
yeah.
Taurus
no.
over here frowning, so I'm not gonna try it. And we all know the Taurus can lead you to good meals. So if the Taurus frowned, I'm gonna sit it out on this one. And I'm the
No,
one
the,
who will
I would
try the
try it,
strange things.
no,
Mm-mm.
the
but I want to
custard
try it. I'm
the
sorry. Go ahead.
custard is the jelly. The custard is the lemon. The jelly is where the red is either red or
That's
fruit jam.
exactly what we talk about,
Right,
Auntie.
that's
Yeah,
what we
That's what
I
mean.
we
don't.
talk
As
about.
long as it's not cherry, because I'm not a cherry girl. But strawberry,
If it's fruit
strawberry and
punch,
lemon, maybe.
listen. If it's fruit punch, we could probably work with it because it might taste similar to grandma Kool Aid.
Yep, yep.
God bless
That
the
that
dead.
could work.
She ain't with us no more, so it's a possibility this might send us back down memory lane. But if it don't, doggone it, who I need to see.
But
I don't
I'll take
know.
mine. I'll take mine stateside though because I'm traumatized by them kangaroos over on that part of the
W-
earth. I just don't want
Wow.
to encounter that. So
They is
never
Okay.
rather
mind.
strong. They look rather
Sorry.
strong. I'm with you when you're right. They
Uh,
look rather strong.
And the snakes
Okay.
and the all the stuff.
Okay. Well, we gonna head over to Iceland now for our savory, and we are going to have pulsar. Pulsar sausage is the Icelandic version of a hot dog sausage and is the main component of Iceland's beloved hot dogs called pulsar, known for its distinctive flavor and high quality ingredients. Pulsar sausage is an essential part of Icelandic cuisine. It is made from a blend of lamb, pork, and beef, with lamb being the standout ingredient. They are typically boiled or grilled before being served on a soft, slightly sweet bun. So
Mm.
I can't have that one because I'm allergic to beef, but comments from the peanut gallery. Go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes, ma'am.
run it,
Sign me up for
run it.
four of them things. It's a bag of
I
chips.
would try that.
I just said sign her up for four.
Yeah, run that. Put that thing on the grill. Get that little smoked
I
What?
charred
would
flavor.
try
A
Yes,
little
that.
sir. Yes,
chaw on it.
sir. Yes,
Just a
sir.
little chaw on it. Yes.
Put a little chard on it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Sign me up.
I don't even need no
Okay.
mustard. I don't need no
That
ketchup. And they got it on the sweet bread. That's just up my alley. Yes. The salt and sweet is my thing.
Okay.
see
So
now
the
we back to
sausage,
Australia all of a sudden because you put that on the Barbie. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So the sausage is a hit, but the jelly,
It's in the middle. It's in the middle.
but the jelly slice is
All
a
right.
so-so, a
It's in the
maybe.
middle. It's in the middle.
It's in
They
the
just
Yeah.
middle.
Depending
ah.
on
Okay.
what that red jelly is.
Okay. All right. So today's topic is from Auntie Janisha. And so I gotta tell y'all a little bit why Auntie Janisha came up with this topic. Auntie Janisha is getting a puppy. And what's your puppy's name?
Her name is Fancy
Her name's Fancy.
for her little
And
spoiled self.
and she was spoiled before she came out the womb. she,
Mm-hmm.
she had more
I don't
stuff.
even have her yet, but she has so much.
She had more stuff before she was before she took her first breath.
We're waiting.
So when do you get Miss Fancy?
4 weeks to go.
Four more weeks to go. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we let's see. So our first one was the topic is the difference between medical working animals and emotional support animals. So we have an article. Oh, let me go find my article. Um, so I found this one on what is the purpose of a emotional support animal. And I didn't know this, so I'm kind of glad that you came up with this topic because I did not know um, that I knew that they had service dogs for like the blind, the hearing, and with mobility assistance. I did not know that they had dogs for diabetics and seizures and psychiatric service and autism, allergy detection. I didn't know that dogs could be trained for those types of services. So
Hmm.
I was like, oh, wow. So I learned a lot um, with exploring this topic. Um, and I was like, oh, great. Because Auntie Janisha and I was talking about this, and I was like, So, an emotional support animal can be a dog, cat, rabbit, hamster, snake, or nearly any other type of animal, depending on the owner's specific needs and relationship with the animal. Oh, and one of them was a monkey. I read somewhere where someone had an a monkey as an animal emotional support. And Auntie Janisha and I was talking about that. I was like, I don't
I can
trust
see that.
monkeys. I don't
I can
trust
totally see it
monkeys. Mm-mm. I
because
don't
they're
trust.
more human-like, and so you're trying to gain all the stuff without having some of the other stuff that we bring to the table. Is how I
Yes,
see it.
yes, but when they get mad at yes, but when they're mad at you, they be throwing their feces at. No, they're just very
Auntie, our
unpredictable.
monkeys don't do that.
Exactly. I'm still getting my monkey. I don't care what they talk about.
So, Auntie Janisha, were you surprised by the other things that that other things that dogs were trained for, or did you already know that?
Mm-mm. I knew that because I work with special needs children, and a lot of our children, like we have their background and home information, so we can
Mm-hmm.
be effective while they were at school with us. So yeah, many of our students had those kinds of animals, or they were on the list to get them, depending on
Oh,
what their um, inability or need was, whatever.
oh, okay.
So yeah, I've
Um,
heard of all of them, a lot of them.
okay, Auntie Marva, how about you? Were you surprised by any on the list?
No, I similarly like Auntie Janisha have worked with special needs kids too. So they teach you a lot of that stuff when you're going through your certifications, the different possibilities of different scenarios, and um um I've been exposed to quite a few different animals in that sense.
Oh, okay. How about you, Auntie Michelle?
Actually, no, because I worked in service, doing the community buses, and you have to take a course on 80. What is it? 88. Um, and they explain to you about different animals you will see, and not to question, because that's like a big thing working in the service,
Mm, okay.
like not the army, but like in what is it, the community service and all that.
Mental health
And
community. Yeah.
so you have to be kind of like educated on what you're going to see. And I did, I thought the snake part was really cool, but all those animals really,
Mm-mm. I don't,
aligned
mm-mm.
with. Hmm?
Mm-mm. Nope. I don't want no snake. I don't want no monkey. Now, I wouldn't mind the pot belly pig or the miniature horse. No,
I mean,
but
all of them cool to me.
mm-mm.
The
Nope.
pot-bellied pig and the miniature horse sound hard-headed, so hard pass on both of them.
I hear that I don't want a pig, but I hear that they are super smart and excellent and clean.
Mm-hmm.
The
I
ones
hear
kept in
that
homes
too.
and stuff, I hear really good stuff about those little piggies.
Yep.
Again,
You
don't
know
want
what?
one, but
You know
yeah.
what animals surprised me have not hit that list yet?
What?
A raccoon.
I've heard of people with raccoons
Hmm.
and even skunks, because Mama, our grandmother, she talks about how they had skunks back in the day. They would just demust them. It's one
Yeah.
gland, so you take that out, and then because they are pretty, I think skunks are pretty.
Yeah.
They're
They are
cute.
cute.
Raccoons too.
No, raccoons are not cute. Mm-mm.
They are.
No, they're not. Nope. Mm-mm.
They are so adorable.
Mm-mm. Not when they are making. Not when they're getting in my trash and making a mess in my yard. No, they are not
Oh, that's totally
cute.
different.
Mm-mm. They're
And they
not
We're
cute.
taste good
talking
too,
about
like
the trained
little
raccoons.
leaves.
You can train a raccoon. They are highly intelligent animals.
There are a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things. If it grows up with you, like it can be domesticated. I would think that some things never warm. Well, as a matter of fact, y'all remember that first lizard that we had,
Keiko.
Cameo? He never warmed up to us, and but that's something I learned going in, that that particular kind is a water dragon. It will always is cold blooded animal, and they always, you got to keep it on a leash. They never kind of warm up to you because I mean it's just a cold blooded creature, and we raised
Mm.
that one from small. But nothing. I don't think, in all fairness, and you have mentioned I'm getting a puppy, but I went through this mental breakdown thing. Um, I believe in freedom. I love freedom, the idea of freedom, whatever. So it I had to, keeping something on a leash and in a cage and stuff like that. That is really a thought on the forefront of my mind, you know, because captivity is captivity. I love SeaWorld, but like, tanks and just all this stuff. Anyway,
Right.
that's a side note. Go ahead.
So the next one was, can your pet be an emotional support animal? And then they have like this an ESA guide, registration guide. So they can, you they can even be a working, you if your current pet can also be a working animal as well. They just have to go through a training. But the ESA training, the difference is the emotional support animal, they can't go in, they're not, they aren't recognized, so they can't go in all places a like a working dog, working animal can. That's pretty much the only difference that I found with that. Um, and so with the ESA registration guide, they go through 10 questions, and the first one is, what is an emotional support animal? Can a cat be an emotional support animal? Does my pet qualify to be an emotional support animal? How much does it cost to register an ESA? Does ESA pets require training? Can emotional support animals go everywhere? Are ESAs and therapy pets considered service animals? And do landlords have to accept emotional support animals? How can I get a housing letter for my ESA? And are emotional support animals eligible for tax deductions? So, this website, because y'all know I'm not going to read every little single thing to you guys, but this website was very full of a lot of information and stuff that I wasn't even aware of.
What is that website again?
It is the ESA, it's the ESA, which is emotional support animal.
.com or
Yes. No, it's
.com?
.com. Yeah.
ESA.com. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that was important to get the difference because, okay, so I used to drive Uber as well as most of us go to the grocery store, and I find it highly offensive that people just assume they can bring their animal in any space. And we
Mhm.
saw the uprise in people doing such, like with COVID and stuff like that. People are finding themselves alone and deciding that an animal would be a great way to have some company and be support. And I'm all for the mental stuff and the emotional stuff. But I think that um, we sometimes forget, I'm not going to say ignore, but forget that everyone can't be around everything. There is
Right.
still health issues to consider. I know one of the aunties on the line has severe allergies. So, it would just be negligent of us to think that we are. And I feel this way already about my baby. Like, I just want to take her everywhere. But I just can't do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless she is a service animal, which is like you're bringing the point, totally different because I don't have that level of need. And I'm not here to dictate what the level is, how severe somebody's conditions are. So they may need their animal, but I think, in all fairness, how bad do you need to really go into that restaurant or that grocery store then? Because you're not the only person involved in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe your food just needs to be delivered to you, or you go somewhere that's more pet friendly and allow people who you've never met. Just imagine that people have needs that are different than yours, and we have to be conscious of other people, or should be always.
Right.
You know, Auntie Destiny, you have two animals, right?
Yes.
Two
Yes.
pets,
I have one of
two fur
each.
babies. Yeah,
Yes.
a dog and a cat, or a rabbit and a
Yes.
and a and a
Nope.
and a snake. What you got? One
Nope.
of each. What?
A dog and a cat.
Okay. And have you ever felt the need to take them everywhere when you were out and about more?
Um, Not so much the cat because she's strictly indoors. But when I got the dog, when I first got her, um, I did used to take her to on jobs with me because, as an independent contractor, I didn't have an office that I went to every day. So if I knew that I was going to be gone for like a certain amount of time, I would take her with me. But if I was just going to be gone for like a couple of hours, she could just hang out at the house. So it just really depends.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just really depends. But I was because I do have anxiety and autism, into I am looking into getting her um trained, so so she will recognize when I'm having an issue, so that she will be equipped to know what to do. I thought, because I was looking into that, and it isn't as expensive as I thought it was going to be, to do that. So say that again, because you're breaking up. Say that again. You broke up. I still, yeah, you're still breaking up. Say it again. I think you're in an area where your service is not as strong, because I can't understand what you're saying now. Are you still there? I can't, no, because I can't hear you. I think we just lost her. Yeah, we just lost her. So, oh, what was I going to say? Oh, so what are your thoughts, Auntie Marva, on? Well, you can't have a cat or a dog. Is there a animal that you could have?
No, I'm allergic to the world. But if
She
I
says,
had a choice, it would probably. I've had snakes before, so I like snakes. I don't mind snakes. Um, I don't mind. Yeah, I like snakes. It would be a snake. And again, I've had them before. They're pretty cool. Snakes are cool. They say the hyperallergenic dogs are supposed to be good, but I'm still allergic to them. But being at well, we grew up with hyperallergenic quote hyperallergenic in quote animals, and I was still running around looking like a panda because everything was swole and I couldn't breathe. But I did have a blast with them. Those dogs were so hard headed and so fun. Those was our homies.
Mhm.
So I would still get one, and for the sake of me being a mom, I would get one for him so he can experience it. But I would do a snake. Now, however, having an emotional support animal, I don't know if I would actually have that animal in my house to be for my emotional support. And here's my issue with that. We started this out with the transference of energy. So that means if we're transferring this sadness that we got into this animal, we're transferring all of this into these animals. When does the animal release? Because they get emotional. They feel like we feel. When do they get the break to release all of this built up anger and aggression? And we've seen animals get fed up. We see these videos
Mm-hmm.
where the ones be caged in, and tigers and all that, and before you know it, they tearing they own the limbs at the body.
Yeah.
They tearing they head off the block. They get stressed out too. So I think about that same thing with the emotional support, because their job is to relieve their owner of emotion. So when do they get the chance to release that? Like, I never, honestly, I never liked the idea of emotional support animals, because that's like, I don't know, slavery. that's
Mm.
that's just kind of how I see it. Like, it's so sad. It's so sad for them. It's so sad to me. And an animal has feelings and emotions just like we do. So I never liked that idea. I never liked that thought process. It just always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. The ones that are doing things like recognizing, you know, uh, a sickness in someone's body, that's different, because they're not fully taking on an energy from that person. They're just doing a task where they can smell out something, and so then they're trained to react to that thing, right? But taking on emotion, that's very sad and hurtful. But that's just me.
But don't you? I was just gonna. Well, you answered the question because I was gonna ask. But don't you think that the service dog would be the same? They're still taking on that energy.
Not necessarily. They're not taking on an energy. If that's just like me, if I smell a house burning, hey, everybody get out of that house. I didn't take on the energy of that fire. The fire isn't in me. I just smelled it, and I recognized it.
Okay.
That's like a car crash. Ooh, there's a car crash, and I jump up, run out, help these people. That's just me recognizing the danger that is apparent at that moment. But emotion, my job is to take the emotion out of you, so you're transferring your emotional energy into me. And I've seen where these, certain videos where people will have their emotional dog and they're just crying and crying and crying, and they're hugging these animals, and the animals is grabbing pillows and running and getting blankets, and they just all in their face like, baby, what is wrong? What is wrong? What is wrong? When does the animal get to release?
I see what you mean.
Are y'all? Am I back?
Yes, you're
Yeah.
back.
Oh, okay. I don't know what I missed, but um, at least the two of you know that I broke down something Capricorn don't do. But I will share it live on the air. Take notes, but don't carry it anybody
Okay, you're
else
breaking
out.
up again.
I broke down crying. See, this is annoying.
We can hear you now.
I'm in the
We can hear. Yeah.
mountains. Okay. I broke down last month because it hit me that, first of all, I want a dog. I'm getting a dog for that very reason because I have, I'm out here a lot by myself driving my trucks, and I just felt the need to get a companion. And then at some point, I realized it's because I want emotional support. I want
Mm.
emotional support. I had to come to terms with that. And that was a big deal for me because I don't need no emotional support. I'm not one of those people that say I don't need nobody, but I've never been needy like that I imagine. But I realized that is the issue. And then a few weeks in, I broke down crying and got very depressed because of exactly what Auntie Marva just said. That's how I felt. But today, hearing you frame it that way, I don't agree. I do feel the weight of what you're saying, but I don't agree with the framing in that way. Because when dogs are intuitive. We've seen that. They pick up on things even when they're not trained.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that they are. I've never heard like we say it, but I don't know that they are taking on the emotion. Now, I know that they will get depressed because I've seen them with people in my personal life and heard stories about how not even just dogs, but animals will get depressed if their owners pass or if they're left home alone by themselves too much or any of the things. So they have emotions already. But as far as are they taking on our emotion or are they just supporting us through our emotion? That's the thing. So I do understand like we can rely too heavily on them or and just the same way we can dump too much on a human being.
Mm-hmm.
But if they sense that their companion, I don't want to say owner, if an animal, a dog, senses that their companion, human companion, is sad, that's they will come and lay their head on your lap, or they will snuggle up to you. Even a
Mm-hmm.
cat will brush you
Yes.
like that. So I don't even I wonder if they are actually taking that on, or they get sad because you get sad because we do that with our loved ones. Or you might see somebody even in a movie, oh wow, something horrible just happened. It I think is levels to all of it. And I
Right.
think again it's responsibility. Um I felt bad because that's exactly it hit me again, exactly why I'm getting the puppy. But I think it was me and you, Marva, that talked about this last when I came to terms with it. It's good that I'm even
Yeah.
recognizing that I can go too far,
Yeah.
that I can let the puppy be a crutch for me. So the fact that I'm thinking of it on this end, I should be conscious moving forward and not dump on the doggone dog just because the dog is there and can't speak up for itself, right?
True. Now,
True.
and see, when we were having that conversation, that's where we concluded. If you're mindfully aware that it is possible to that we can dump on an animal the same way we emotionally dump on a human, then yes, by all means, take that animal because now you're aware. I know better, so therefore I will do better. But for some individuals don't see it like that. Some individuals just real deal feel like no, that's their task. That's their job. That's what you're gonna do. That's slavery.
Yeah, I
That's
Yeah.
agree
slavery.
with that.
So, and I think too, you know, because Auntie Marva, you were saying how does that when does that animal get to release? So, like, I know, like, um, for for my dog, when she's both of them since when I'm down or or when I'm in pain or whatever, and they will come and comfort me. But I have an acre for her to she can just go and rip and run and get all of that out, you know. And even the cat, she'll just run through the house. Um, Sometimes she'll be asleep 1 minute and the next minute she is just running through the house like a crazy person. And I'm just like, what the heck? All of a sudden it's all quiet. And then the next thing all you hear is and I'm like, what the heck is going on? It's because she's running through the house like a crazy person. And I'm just like, okay. Auntie Michelle, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts on everything is I study dogs mainly for a very long time. And I can understand what Auntie Marva is saying, but dogs are they are naturally built for working in different areas, medical, working, hunting, doing all types of things. So they are built to actually take on a lot of these things you talk about. So I agree with when people actually look for those that should, using an animal. Mother Nature takes care of us like that. When I, as well, everybody know I'm very spiritual. Mother Nature is built to take on needs. It's almost like me hugging a tree, talking to the water, going and way in the water, or different things like that. It's built for those things. So I think it's beautiful when people, actually admit and, take the further steps to get animals for whatever need they need, as long
Mhm.
as they're not abusing, they're not harming the dog or anything. An animal know how to release itself, unlike human nature. You might get a shrink with a breakdown faster than a dog.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So they have two registrations, and they are on the USA Service Dogs .org, and so one is to register as a service dog, and the other one is to register as a support dog. And then they tell you the breakdown. So with both, they are allowed on an airplane for free. They are um the service is allowed in um in, in public establishments. They are both allowed in housing units that forbid pets, and they are both protected by federal laws. Where they differ in their training, the service provides more training, whereas the emotional only provides four of the training. So, um, the service is mobility, paralysis, diabetes, asthma, autism, depression, bipolar disorder, panic attacks. They both do anxiety and PTSD, social anxiety and panic attacks. Service also does speech problems, um, epilepsy, blindness, and deafness. So, if you would like to have your, if you would like to look into of the service and emotional registration, and to see if your dog would qualify, I would highly encourage you to check out um, this website, and also the ADA .org website, and also the National Humane Society. All of them have really good resources when it comes to those services.
I
So
really appreciate that, and I think that they've probably always been in existence, but because there's been a rise, and maybe I'm just now seeing it or whatever, but I really do think that so many more people have, like I stated before, gotten into getting emotional support animals, or it's
mhm,
become kind of a thing since COVID. And I'm with Auntie Michelle too. Whatever we need to do to make it through this life, as long as we're not hurting and harming and abusing. I think it's a good thing because, the lashing out and just feeling, because I tell you, I've just been feeling extra lonely out here, and
yeah,
been an empty nester for a long time, but all of a sudden it's just so heavy. Oh, did y'all watch the YouTube? It was kind of long. It was like 50 something minutes. But that
yes,
YouTube
it was long.
about the people that got the emotional support monkey.
I did not watch all of it. It was like so long, and
Yeah, it was a long story.
yeah. And right, I don't know. I'm at this point now, like when I'm watching YouTube videos, just get to the point. Just cut
Well,
out.
the point, it was a whole story. She tells stories, so
Yes,
there
but yes,
needed
I
to be
understand.
background. But I'll give folks the Cliff Note version right now. You guys all know, but so these people, this couple, they their daughter passed away. She was an adult, but she and the mom were very close, and she passed away. So the mom decided to get a chimpanzee, and I think he was a chimpanzee. It's been so long now since we prepped for this show. I'm sorry, listeners, but he was a primate, and they got him, and he was great, and he even became the face of their business and all the stuff. Everybody loved him, but he started with different behaviors because he became an adult. He wasn't just a baby monkey anymore, and everything gets his own personality. It doesn't matter because it's an animal. Sometimes we think that they don't have what we have intellectually, emotionally, all the stuff. It's just on different levels. Their abilities are different than ours, and the levels are just what it is for them. So he got his little personality going, and he started having little behaviors that the mom and dad didn't like because they treated him like their son. He was a member of their family, ate at their kitchen table, and all the stuff. And they used to take him everywhere around town. Now, all of a sudden, because of some things that he had done out in public, which their neighbors and everybody, many of the people thought it was cute, they didn't find it so cute. So they stopped taking him out in public, which anything that you start off one way, it's going to have a mental, something's going on because now
Hmm.
you're not treating it the same. So that to me was a big deal when I'm hearing the story. They totally stopped taking this um, animal that they were treating like a human out in public who was very social. Now he's just shut up in the house. And when they left, he had to stay behind. And he was seeing them come and go, and he's stuck inside. So of course the behaviors just got out of control, as many of us would be. We would lose it, right?
Hmm.
Long story short, ended up darn near killing someone, but not
Wow.
before the husband one day. Um, the monkey, he was not trained to notice or smell or any of the stuff. He was just a regular member of their family. They had made it, but he knew that the husband had cancer before they knew it. He smelled it on him, and his behavior changed even more, and he started acting to them erratic, right? So
Right.
that's even more of a reason to leave you in the house. So he ended up getting very hostile and beating one of her good friends darn near to death.
Wow.
And it just went way left, this whole story. It ended very sad, but a couple other things that I said, like, the changes in his routine and the changes in, well, the husband ended up dying. So that was like his dad. Like he suffered some losses that in the story at least were not addressed at all.
Right.
And those, I wish I had the, I'm driving. We
Well,
were all queued up to do this at a different time. So I don't have that with me because I'd love to be able to point that out. But we'll have it in the
but
show notes.
yeah, but the thing about it is, people forget that when you get animals and they're young and they're cute and and but at some point, like us, we go through puberty. They're going to go through puberty, and when they go through puberty, they're going to act differently. They're going to, how else are they going to let you know? They can't tell you.
Right.
And so they communicate with you the best way they can. It's not always positive, you know, or it's just a lack of understanding. So I just feel like before you get an animal, you need to just do your research. Like before I got my current dog, I hadn't had a dog since I was like 14. So to me, I was a new dog owner. So I did a lot of research on which dog would be the best dog for a new dog owner. I wanted a dog with a good temperament that didn't bark a lot. I did a lot of research. And the two dogs um that I set my sights on was a greyhound or a Shiba Inu because I felt that with all my research, those two dogs would be the best fit. And um and so I contacted a couple of greyhound rescues, but because I don't have a fence, they wouldn't let me adopt one. And so there's this agency here in Oregon. They rescue dogs from Mexico. And so the dog that I ended up getting, she's half greyhound and half Australian Kelpie, which was also on that list of dogs for that would be good for new dog owners. So I got the best of both worlds in this one little dog. And yeah, she was a rescue. She was used to be just roaming around and scrounging for food. And so yeah, she had a few little behavior issues when she got here, but we went to training class and then we worked on it. I didn't just go, okay, well, now you're showing these behavior issues, so I'm gonna lock you in your kennel for all day long. No. I'm like, okay, so let's see what we could do to correct this. Let's address it and let's correct it.
Hmm.
you know and I just feel like if people could think about, okay, well, this animal came from a not so good situation, or okay, wait, why is this animal all of was like this, but now all of a sudden it's acting like this? Something is wrong.
Yeah.
What can we do? Call your vet. Yeah, my monkey was like this, and now my monkey's acting like that. I don't understand what's going on with my use your resources.
Yeah.
Locking it up is not the issue.
Yep.
Let's find ways to address it. So that's one of the things that really upset me with that with that story. But I was just like, at that point I was just like, okay, it's taking too long. And then I got to, and that part just upset me. And then I just couldn't listen to them anymore because I was getting mad at them. So like,
Yeah. Every
but
other
yeah.
animal that we've had, they've come by like they were strays or um came from abuse or something just given to us. Something it just kind of ended up at the house I was living in. But I was never solely responsible for um, one, except for the lizards, and we've had three now, right? Um, Never solely responsible, I would say, for a dog, because lizards are totally different. They are self-contained a lot because they're in their tank, or you take them out and you hang them on your shoulder, and even then they're just chilling. So not much. You don't have to do much. But with this
Right.
puppy, I am gonna be, for the first time, solely responsible for doing all of the stuff. I have had kittens, but cats are totally easy,
Yeah.
so easy because they will again rub up on your leg, and when they sick of you they finna go about their business, which has always worked for me because I got things to do myself. So it has taken a whole like double dutch thing in my mind. Do I really want to be quote unquote bothered with the dog? Like,
r-
eh. But I'm ready. I've done a lot of research even before I made the decision, which is something I do. I go all in with the research part. Like you said, what would be the best kind for me? Because yes, I am a new dog owner. And should I get a rescue? I decided I want something that I can continue my current level of growth with, like starting fresh. So we
Right.
can kind of mesh together from the beginning. So that's why I'm choosing a puppy. And yes, I wanted something very cute and cuddly. That was a choice because I thought about all the stuff and the
Yes.
designer dog argument and the breeding thing and the selling of the. I considered all of those things, but at the end of the day, um, yeah, all the things had to fit for me. So it took a
Yeah.
lot of research. It really did in consideration.
Yeah, and see, you got a pup. I was like, I don't want no little baby puppy. I'm like, I want a puppy that's like, you know, like 6 months old or older. I'm just like, but
Yeah.
no, you get because one, I wouldn't have had time to I wouldn't have had the time to train the puppy.
Hmm.
A little teeny tiny puppy. I wouldn't have had time to potty train it and that just yeah, nope. That just took that was going to take way too much time. Mm-mm. So we're gonna switch and go to the entertainment section of animals, and so the National Humane Society. I was reading their website, and I should have marked the. I'll have to find the article again. Because I just noticed that I didn't post it, but it was saying how they got involved into the film industry because animals were being were being abused, um and some of them ended up dying on set because due to neglect and all of that. It was like really 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 super super sad. So the National Humane Society is the organization that oversees animals on film and TV sets. So I was looking up TV animals, and this article is like the 25 most memorable TV pets. Half of them, I don't know a majority of them on this list, but maybe you guys will. So we're going to start with 25 and go down to 1. So 25 is Stan, dog with the blog. Craig
Mm-mm.
Slithers, Sanjay and Craig. Murray, Mad About You. Buck, Married with Children. Vincent, Lost. Klaus Heiser, American Dad. Elvis, Miami Vice. I remember that because he had. I think Elvis was like a crocodile or an alligator or something like that. Eddie Frazier, Astro, The Jetsons, Comet, Full House, Rin Tin Tin, The Adventures of Rin Tin Tin, The Chick and the Duck, Friends, Salem, Saberhagen, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Santa's Little Helper, The Simpsons, Curious George, Marcel, Friends, Dino the Flintstones, Tiger, The Brady Bunch, Brian Griffith, Family Guy, Flipper, Mr. Ed, Arnold Ziffel, Green Acres, Scooby Doo franchise, Snoopy, Peanuts franchise, and the number one is Lassie from Lassie. So, Auntie Janisha, how many of these 25 did you recognize?
Um, Maybe about half of them. Even though I didn't watch the shows or the movies or whatever, I did recognize the name and where they came from.
Okay. What about you, Auntie Michelle?
Yeah, I recognize them. I keep up with stuff like that. One that they are missing is the abuse of SeaWorld, because that was a big hit not too long ago. They even made a documentary about it.
Oh yeah, no, these are famous, memorable TV pets. These are for just for the TV. They didn't do. I didn't do the movies because the movies would include like Free Willy and that darn cat. So
The Benji
yeah,
ones. Yeah.
and
Because I was
Benji
Yeah.
and
wondering why Benji wasn't on there. Okay, because it's not movies.
yes,
Well,
because
Big was
yes,
well kept.
yeah, because
Okay.
these are just from from TV, not from
Okay, just famous because Shamu was one that was brought here from Mexico, which was abused there and abused here. So yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's very
So
sad.
it
It's
is very
touching.
sad. Yeah, that was very sad. So you know, you were talking about monkeys. Marcel was a monkey that was on Friends, and as you were saying with that couple, yeah, when Ross first got Marcel, he was all cute and nice, and then he started acting out, and then Marcel reached out to the vet, and he was going through puberty, and he needed to find a mate, and that's why he was acting out. So he had to make the decision to to um to give Marcel away to a zoo so that they were better equipped to deal with his outburst that he was having. So,
I
but
keep
yeah,
cutting in and out, so I don't even know if we talked about the socialization part because that again, when we were getting
you cut out again, John. Can you hear me?
hello,
Yeah,
I
you're
can
cutting
hear
out
you.
again.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
I know I'm in West Texas, guys. I am so sorry. So I was saying, that was the point that, well, I've been cutting out so much, I don't know if the point was brought, but that is something that I consider too, the socialization of our animals. We're getting the animals for us, and we're bringing them totally away from their. I mean, they're born from somewhere, hatched or whatever. So at some point in their life, they are around their kind, right? And then we're bringing
Mm-hmm.
them totally into a human situation. And do they ever? A lot of people. I wonder if we do this socialization enough because yeah, everything wants to be paired up here and there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wants a friend that looks like them and all the relatability type situation. How much of that are we really considering?
Yeah, so when I was mobile, um I would take I would take mine to the dog park, to the coast, um to a friend's house. She has a couple of little friends um that she played with. And then at one point I had her in puppy school. So she was going to so she was getting a lot of socialization. And when we were doing the training classes, she was getting socialization. So I made sure that she got some socialization. But since I've been in mobile, it's been kind of hard for me to get her out so that she can get her socialization.
Yeah. Well, she has
Yeah.
Saturn.
Well,
That's the one.
Saturn is the dog.
So I always get
She
their
has
names confused.
yeah,
Well,
she has the
Safrina.
Frida. Yeah. So she can yeah, so she socializes with her kitty.
But it's really cool for anybody that's listening. Some of the things that it may seem daunting if you haven't already started, but there are so many resources available because so many people have pets now, right? Because so
Mhm.
many people already had pets. I'm new to this, so a lot of it is new to me. I'm probably speaking to the choir. But I never noticed how many dog parks are out here. Even just
Mhm.
driving on the major highways in my truck, the
Yeah.
possibilities are endless. And the
Yes.
videos on YouTube, because I feel like I'm an expert. Just kidding, guys. Don't crucify me. But I watch so many different videos on what to do and how to train and do all the stuff, and I just feel like I'm ready, and I know I'm gonna crash and burn on some stuff. But I am learning on the job.
Oh,
you
you're
know,
breaking up again. You
they're,
said you're gonna crash and burn on some stuff and what?
yeah, it's not going to get everything right, and it's going to take patience and practice. You know,
Well, yeah,
and
I mean, we went through puppy training. I and I still don't get everything right. I mean, I'm just like, okay. But you have to be consistent though. Also, you have to be consistent. And I used to be. I used to be consistent,
yeah,
and then I just, became immobile, and then that consistency just kind of went out the window. But yeah. But but she's also too, because like when my carers are here and they let her out, they're like, is it okay for her to be out on her own? I'm like, yeah, she knows she knows where her boundaries are. She knows where she can and can't go in the yard. And they're like, oh, okay. And they know that if she goes out of her boundaries, then her movements are restricted. And she doesn't like her movements being restricted. So, yeah, she knows. And they're like, oh, okay. So,
yeah.
so Auntie Michelle, are you going to get any animals?
Of course, when I get my land, I want a monkey. I want lamb. Well, not lambs. I want baby goats. I
You want
want
baby goats?
rabbits. I want a snake. I want another chinchilla. I want
You just want
like
a farm.
yes, I do. A exotic farm.
You just want a farm.
I do.
Uh,
Mhm. I sure
uh,
do. I don't
yeah.
see anything wrong with that.
Nope, there isn't anything wrong with that.
I love
No, it's
animals.
not.
But when
Okay,
I
I
turn
think I did want to say something before you
Sure.
move on. When you was talking about how people should really research animals before they get them, I
Mhm.
love this one law that Florida put in place, like for exotic animals. They was telling them that they're not against them getting them, but you have to do a series of tests at a zoo or wherever those animals are kept, and you have to do like so much community service there. And that way actually help people if they want to go further, because if they can't handle that community service or something like that, they won't be able to handle that animal for a long length of time. So I encourage
Right.
people to go to places where they will keep these animals, and really do their due diligence of education, because it's not fair to the animal and it's not fair to yourself. You're not
That's
educating
a good
yourself on what
idea.
you're getting.
Hands on, do
Yeah.
some volunteering. So, yeah,
I
good
like
idea,
that.
Michelle. Mhm. Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. I think we all should do that. Can we do that before we before we have cheer-ins? Can we make that a law?
Probably should.
Actually, it is places, hospitals. Well, after a lot of kids started coming up abducted, but they used to do that in hospitals, and I'm pretty
Oh,
sure it's places that you could go. And that was my point. I said to my friend, like, yeah, because it's just like a child that we have those little courses that where we actually be dealing with the dolls, but we do a lot of courses with you know the baby dolls, because that's the most frustrating time, the arm
mhm.
babies. And they do a lot of training with that. And when you get through, getting past that stage, even though those kids go to running and all those other things, it's a lot more easier because you have made y'all becoming to understand one another. So
Right. Can we start with the little baby doll that you can program to
you
cry every
can,
2 hours?
so it's a
Then
lot of those
and
around.
yeah,
Mhm.
and then if you're successful with that, then we'll give you a puppy. And then if you're successful with the puppy,
Right,
then
right, 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 right. I think
then we'll
everybody
be
should
like,
start off with a
okay,
puppy
you can
first.
have a baby now. It's like, okay,
Mhm.
yeah, now you can
Start
have
with an
a
If you
egg.
baby.
can't have that puppy, don't go out
Breakfast
there getting
egg.
that baby. Yeah, yeah, that's a yeah, yeah. Because that puppy is way more easy than that baby. So if you can't handle this, yeah, you might want to leave that baby where it's at. You on the one right.
It's like,
And
can we just
I wanted to bring up something else. Do you know in Australia, and now they're bringing it to the United States in prisons, they are doing a dog program where the inmates have to take care of a dog, the puppy, and
Oh,
they have to
Oh,
nurse
they
them all the
have
way
that.
to
It's
adults.
called Inmates
And I
and
think that's really
Parolees and Pit
great.
Bulls. Auntie Michelle, don't
Hmm.
they have that show?
Yes, yes,
Parolees and Pit Bulls. That is
yes.
American. Yeah, that is a
It
real
started
big
in
deal.
Australia, which Australia
Uh-huh.
has the less turnover for somebody to return to prison, and there's so many other, but that's either here or there. But we should do a show about that. But yeah, it
mm,
really helps the inmates take care of something other than themselves and show care to something other than themselves, what make them actually tap into their feelings and emotions, which
hmm
I think is really great.
yeah,
So
I do.
yeah, I
Yeah,
love the idea of that.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, Auntie Janisha, thank you for this topic. It was a really good one. We're going to go into our first segment, which is loving connections, building better relationships. So this month, we are trying a new recipe together. And now we're going to turn it over to Auntie Marva for Career Corner.
Okay. So, um, I'm struggling here. My phone had died, so I have to be close by the plug, but close by the wall.
Oh,
Um,
no.
to make sure I'm just trying to make sure y'all don't hear anything in the background. In my background. So, in light of this month's topic, I wanted to focus on, emotional support. So, um, the first opportunity is a college readiness coach. And I'm kind of familiar with what a college readiness coach is because it's kind of similar, just a tiny bit of what I do um, at work at my job. At my job, I'm an industry outreach rep. So what I do is I find jobs for the graduates. I nurture relationships with um, employers. I don't necessarily my the relationships I build is not necessarily with the graduates, but more so with the employers. So I go in, I meet with the employers, I talk about the services that I can provide for them. I talk about and then I question them and find out their atmosphere and figure out, what it is to exist within their company and then find out the opportunities they have available. So a college readiness coach would be on the other side of what I do, but they would build that relationship with the grad, talking with them, finding out what they're wanting to do, if they made the necessary steps to get there, what their resume should look like, what their portfolio should look like. And the reason why I said this would be parallel to, emotional support. That is very nerve wracking, especially for early start. They've never had a job before. They don't even know how to search for a job. That is very nerve wracking for any young individual, young adult. So being a college readiness coach is very necessary, and it helps take the edge off and the anxiety off of searching for employment on the other side of education. So this particular opportunity is found in West Palm Beach, college readiness coach, and the company is called Take Stock in Children, Palm Beach County. And it's just a an organization that focuses on young adults and preparing them for real world living. You can find this link in the bottom. You did okay. So um, the second opportunity that, I immediately thought that that was pretty cool just because it directly relates with what I do. So yeah, I thought that was cool. But anyway, um, the second one the second opportunity is a, youth success manager. The youth success manager, it this is with the Workforce Solution in West Central Texas. The youth success manager. Now, the wellness coach doesn't require too much experience. So I wanted to highlight that you don't have to have too much experience. You just have to have some experience working with young adults. Um, in preferably in an educational setting. So the youth success manager does similar tasks. Completely part they maintain positive relationships with their partnered schools, but they supervise and educate and coach the other advisors. So this particular person would be over the individuals that would be quote over a coach readiness, a readiness coach, college readiness coach, right? So this person oversees those individuals, and this position is in Abilene, Texas. It's with the Workforce Solutions, but that is a very unique location. But I did find other similar positions. I did find other similar positions by with youth success. I'm sorry, youth success managers with other workforce locations around the country. So you can look at this particular link in the comments, but you can also um, kind of mirror search options to find a similar position closer to your area. But because workforce is all over the country as we know it, right? All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third opportunity that I found is the community engagement specialist. And um, this particular position is in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm sorry, North Carolina. Where did that come from? Asheville is, I meant to say Asheville, not Nashville. Asheville, North Carolina. And that just rolled off my tongue like it was correct. Um, it's with it's with the Henry M. Jackson Foundation. It's another organization. But this location is for the advancement of military medicine. So this particular position works with individuals that were impacted by Hurricane Helene. Um, and I did choose this because I just, again, when you went through a natural disaster, there is some things that you have to settle with and overcome. And sometimes some people need that additional help to be able to overcome those things, because that could be a very scary thing that to go through and experience. So this particular organization focuses in those areas, right? Because that they saw some horrific things, and those a lot of those individuals that were in that area are still suffering from what they experienced way last year, right? So but this position, it is a part-time role. That it's only up to 20 hours a week. However, you are not just working to receive a paycheck, but you're actually doing something that where your work amount to real assistance, real work. And again, so that position is the community engagement specialist. It's with the Creative Arts Therapies Department with the Henry M. Jackson Foundation for the advancement of military medicine. That link will also be in the comments. And this was from 3 days ago. So this one is very active. It's very recent, as well as I try to find positions that are similar to others around the country. And I did find some other similar positions. The only reason why I'm not going to give too much detail, that you're going to have to do a little bit of work for that, is because the titles differ a little bit. But if you click on the link and you liked what you're hearing, again, you don't need too much background. I always focus on positions that doesn't require you to have too much background, but at least have been in that field or in that industry, just because I know a lot of people don't have, I want you I don't want you to have to worry about experience or certifications and things of that nature. Yes, we would like for you to be educated if you have that, but if you do not, I try to focus on positions that do not require AOI, or that where they will assist you with getting what required certifications that you need to be able to operate in that position. Um, but yeah, so click on the link. If you're not in North Carolina, you can use some of the keywords and do some searches for yourself and find similar positions in your area. And I hope you get that job, because why? You cannot have mine.
Hers.
Go ahead, Auntie.
Okay, now we're going to turn it over to Auntie Janisha for what were they thinking?
All right. Y'all ain't gonna like this one. I already know you're not.
Uh-oh, here we go.
What? So, a friend and I were talking about animals. um, dogs in particular, and one dog's name came up that we have questions about. And the what were they thinking is really y'all gonna be like, what were we thinking when we came up with this? But just hear me out. Benji.
Okay.
Every Benji movie we've ever seen. See, don't huff and puff already. Every
See.
Benji movie. For y'all young
Mm-mm.
people, go look them up. Y'all gonna see what I'm saying unbiasedly.
Mm-mm.
Just hear what I'm saying
Mm-mm.
right now. But these older people, they ain't gonna want to feel me, but whatever. Because it's right
Mm-mm.
there in your face. Benji
Mm-mm.
always with some new family every single movie. Was he
Mm-mm.
murdering the other family that he wasn't with no more?
Benji
Well, we
was a
ain't never hear no.
stray.
We never did hear. Yeah, that's why he was a stray. Throwing stray bullets. He
No.
was always a come up.
No, you
Benji,
not.
we never
See.
got an update. No, see,
Uh,
don't jump in here, Auntie. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm about to be a
ah.
dog mom too, but the facts are the facts. We never got updates with these families. Every time the movie came on, it was calm and peaceful. Then Benji came in, and there was some foolishness going on. That's what the whole movie was about. The foolishness he was in, and then we don't know what happened to them people. And he was on to the next family.
And he had the nerve to be
Wow.
cocky with it because he always saved the day. Like he didn't
Mm-hmm.
start it.
Wow.
Like he didn't start the mess. You are onto
Mm-hmm.
something, Auntie Janisha.
Wow.
No,
Nuh-uh.
I like Benji. And there was another one too, Boomer, short lived. Did he kill that little dog too? A lot of people ain't never even heard of Boomer.
I don't know who
What happened to Boomer?
Boomer is. I
There was
don't
a
know
little
who
girl
Boomer is.
dog. She died, but that was also Benji's fault because Benji was on.
So
I won't even say it was
Mm.
his fault, but he was on the
so
scene.
what you saying is
Wow. So you
Benji
say,
and
wow.
Cujo was in cahoots.
I don't know
Ooh.
about that, Auntie
No, she
Marva,
did
but
not bring in
Benji is a
Cujo.
common denominator on all of these tragic situations that happen during such a time. Is all
So
I'm
was
saying.
Cujo.
Wow.
So was Cujo.
And it was
Wow.
always a different family.
So was Cujo.
Where them people at?
Wow.
Nobody don't even
So
ask about them people no more.
but
Ever.
Benji was a straight detective dog. Come on. He was solving crimes.
And knocking
Or
them
was
peoples
he
off. So he
causing the
had a badge
crimes?
and he was abusing his ability and he was abusing his power and knocking them families off and burying them and
So he
moving
can
them
have
in.
Wow.
a
He
crime
was
to
going from
solve.
city to city.
So he could have
Okay.
a crime to
Now,
solve. I'm just
nope,
saying.
nope, I'm gonna read you the overview for Benji, cause y'all not gonna come on
Hold on, because
here.
I want to say something.
Go
It's
ahead,
almost
and
like how that big red dog named Cliff was raising that little girl because I ain't never seen her parents. But I'm just saying.
Hmm.
see Benji, stray dog Benji doesn't need an owner, referring to roam freely all over his friendly Texas town. He delights in hectoringly the cat of a local widow and can always rely on a kindly shopkeeper for a hangout. But when two children Benji loves are kidnapped and held for ransom, the dog springs into action, taking it
So he
upon
can.
himself to foil the crooks and save the day. Along with Along the way, he falls in love with a beautiful Maltese named Tiffany. See,
Yeah, Tiffany
Benji,
got that business.
uh-uh. Benji was
Girl,
just
that is so
that.
many laws broken in what you just read. What is you talking about?
Who wrote that? Did Benji write that? Did Benji orchestrate the kidnapping?
Somebody
You can't even tell me,
did
Auntie, that you don't know that Benji didn't set the whole thing up in the first place. So he can come out looking rosy in the end. We don't know
No,
that.
glad they
This is
said
what they
no.
Texas.
gave
So many
us.
strange stories come out of Texas, but and they always those horror stories would come out of Texas.
Wait.
So
I'm in
Benji
Texas right
was
now. We're
actually
not
not a
going to
real
talk about
dog; it
them
was a
until I
spirit running
leave.
around. Huh.
Janisha, because you're in Texas right now, and
Mm-hmm.
if you something happened to you, I hope Benji don't come to your rescue because you
I know
talking
he
bad
Girl,
won't either. And
about
he's
Benji
Benji.
still
is a
running around
spirit,
causing
Poochie.
trouble.
Auntie,
Exactly.
Auntie Janisha, that's a spirit running around. You don't want Benji to come.
And we're not
Mm-mm.
going to talk
Notice
about
he wasn't up in
this.
the hood.
They're
Mm,
already
Oh,
messing with my phone signal today.
he wasn't in the hood.
mm,
Exactly. Don't bring that mess
Y'all
around
just
here.
talk. I cannot
Mhm.
have y'all talking bad about Benji.
mm.
Mm-mm.
Huh?
We used to have a lot of stray dogs running around in the hood. Not so
Right.
many no more, but none
What
of them
cake
have
bowl?
them kind of
Oh, sorry, y'all.
stories.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Not one of them.
Nope.
Have
We
all them little
moving on.
mishaps.
Nope.
All
We
right, well,
moving
we're
on.
gonna move
Nope.
on.
We
Okay.
moving on.
All right.
I'm not, y'all can't be this. No.
I think we need to.
No.
Benji.
Mm-mm. We are
Mm,
not
He
just
was
no.
he
We
was cute, but
first.
that was the disguise.
Mm-mm.
Cute.
First, you came on here dissing Queen Latifah. Now you dissing Benji. We moving on. Okay. Next one. I see you. I hear you. Parents and children building relationships. Grab your calendar and sit down and pick a night to spend 1 hour doing an activity. Oh no. Now we back to Auntie Janisha again. What's your book for the month? Over
All right,
here
I have a
dissing
confession.
Benji.
I have a confession. I did not actually read the book that I chose, but I'm gonna give it
We
to y'all. Um, and the reason why, let me give you my excuse first, because it's real. It's real. I'm like
don't need your
a dog with a bone. When I have an idea in my head, pun intended, because of our today's discussion. I've been so excited about getting my puppy, so I've really been investigating and doing my little YouTube university on all the stuff puppies and training and new puppy mamahood. So I didn't get to my book, but the book that I was going to read, that I'm still going to read, somebody suggested it to me because of another book that I suggested to you all that I did read. It was by her husband, which is Of Water and the Spirit,
oh
but this
yes.
one is called
yeah.
The Spirit of Intimacy. Um, and I was that it was her husband, but they actually had gotten divorced or whatnot. But they were a couple at one point, and her name is Sobonfu Some, Sobonfu Some, Some. And the name of the book again is The Spirit of Intimacy: Ancient Teachings in the Ways of Relationships. I actually had a few sisters of mine to suggest this particular book, and I have it, the real copy, in my hand, as y'all can see. So I did make an attempt, but I just haven't gotten into it yet.
Oh, okay.
But it looks very interesting, and it just really talks about exactly what the subtitle is: Ancient Teachings and the Ways of Relationship. It explores some of the um, a lot of what we encounter today, but how things may have been handled or were looked at back in the day, and from a Western African cultural standpoint. And I think it's very important, personally, that as we move forward, we do look back, which is the spirit of Sankofa, to see what things, because everything is not working for us these days. Just look
Right.
around, and some of the stuff that we used to do or that others have done that we may have never explored, we can try those. I mean, if what you're doing ain't working, try some, do some, right?
Right.
And what works, keep it, and the other stuff, put that aside. Let somebody else use it or throw it in the garbage altogether, whatever. But the past is worth looking at.
Right. Okay. We are moving into open topics. And what kind of pets have you had and what were their names? Auntie Janisha?
Oh, wow. So the ones that I actually chose for myself, my favorite thus far was there was three, and I'll say that I didn't choose. So we had a cat that just used to hang around. Her name was Katrina. I loved her because she was gangster. She was afraid of nothing, and she wasn't that big of a cat, but I loved her. And we didn't even want her because she was a cat. We weren't familiar with cats yet, so her name was really Cat because we didn't want to embrace her, but it became Katrina. So that was the evolution of that, Katrina. She was great. And then Chi Chi. He was our lab chow mix. He was nuts, but I love that dog. He seemed to be potty trained. He came to us very early. We didn't train him. Um, and then Baby was the baby. He was also very, very smart and absolutely loved that one. But what I chose was actually three lizards, two bearded dragons, and one water dragon. They were Cameo, Keiko, and Kamiko. Those were three I actually went out looking for a pet and got. So
Okay. Auntie
those are my
Marva.
babies.
Oh, yeah, Auntie Marva. Did you
I done
ever
had a
have
couple
any?
dogs. I had a snake. I had two snakes. So I had two snakes and I had a few dogs. And then we grew up with, dogs and some rabbits.
Okay.
Yeah,
And what were the names
pretty much it.
of your two snakes?
My my two favorites, my two doggies. I had a Dalmatian and I had a Dachshund. And the Dachshund was named Patty Milk because she had a little fat stomach, and when she sit down, her stomach spread out on each side like a burger, like a burger patty. So her name was
Mm-hmm.
Patty Milk. I mean, it was Patty Melt Williams, and then the Dalmatian, her name was Chastity because she was bougie. She was real, real bougie. She ain't like nobody touching her, and she was, yeah. Somebody stole them. I was so hurt. They were so spoiled. Chastity, she was black and white, obviously, but she had a red collar with red nails, and Patty Melt was jet black with a pink collar and pink nails, and they stole my babies. They were so spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
Then, y'all remember Chastity and Patty Melt
Mm-hmm.
when I stayed on the street from Mama? But then when I went to Orlando, when I was in Orlando, I had a snake, and my snake, it was a pink and white albino python, and it was a little baby when I first got it. And when she got away, she got out of her cage. This was about 4 or 5 months later, so it was about a little bit longer. I say just about maybe 2 or 3 inches longer than a foot, a ruler, and it was about that big around. So she got away. She used to go up the side of her cage, and hit like the roof of the cage and be hitting it and getting out. And I used to always find her. Well, one day I did not find her. 3 months down the road, my neighbor was screaming to the top of her lungs. Ah, ah, ah. She's screaming, and I heard her. She was inside her house. I was inside my house. I ran next door because we think something going wrong. She was so hoarse. She was like, Marva, Marva, I'm gonna kill you. And I'm like, kill me for what? She said, that snake is there in that back, and it's behind my water heater. I'm gonna kill you. You get that thing out of my house right now. I say, well, think of it like this. We'll never find it because it went up in a hole in the wall. I said, we'll never find it, but at least you'll never have no rats. Like, I just did you a favor.
Wow. I'm with her. No, no, no. Ever since I seen that
Mm.
movie where that man was turning people into snakes, I just been afraid. Nope.
Snakes are really cool, though. They real cool.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Auntie
I make
Michelle.
myself go up and touch them when they're on somebody's neck, but oh, they creep me out.
Mm-mm. No. Mm-mm. Auntie
I
Michelle.
had a lot of animals. I was doing with all the kids, and I had lots of animals. And so we're going to start off with my first Fiji. He got hit by a car when my kids was really small. He was a pit bull. Not sure the full depth of him, but he was highly intelligent. He used to walk my daughter to school, which her school bus only came right across the street in like, 2 lane highway, free. And he would walk her to the bus, and then he would sit there and wait for the bus, and he'll run back home and get my boots so I could go to work. Fiji was awesome. He was so highly intelligent and smart. He did get hit by a car on his way back crossing the road from taking my oldest daughter to the school bus.
Oh.
Then I had it's okay. Okay, so we had that one. Then we had so many. Oh my god. I'm just trying to call out the ones I really, really remember. Um I do remember all of them. I just it's a lot. But when my son, that was emotional support dog. The first dog was Destiny. Sorry, Auntie, but she was named after Destiny Children. She was a Japanese Sui.
That
She was
dog was beautiful.
very gorgeous. She'll be sitting in the yard and you'll think she was a real fox. She was actually a show dog, and her name was Destiny Child. That was her stage name. And she was so beautiful, so playful, so energetic, so everything you would want and imagine in a dog. She did wonders for my dog, my son's energy and get him back into a lot of healthier spaces in his life. Um, and tragically, she was hit by a car because they was walking to the store. I was at work, and my uncle ran her. Well, he was at the time my boyfriend. Uncle ran. He shoot her back to the house instead of taking her back there, and a car hit her. So that was my second. It broke me. Then we had Princess, and Princess was a
Was that dog off it
oh,
was similar to
ain't
that
nobody gonna
squirrel
sit
on
on here and
Ice
talk about.
Age.
Y'all
That
gonna put
dog
some
was
respect on
crazy.
Princess' name.
That dog
Princess,
was a holy
amazing.
terror.
She was an amazing, beautiful, crazy maniac.
If y'all remember that squirrel
Nuts.
off of
She
Ice Age,
is the
that's
reason why
that
they
was
call
Princess.
female dogs the B word. She was that. She was a bad bee.
She was
She
And
not.
was
She
Mhm.
was just
crazy.
crazy.
she knew it. Your dog wanted her. Your
Okay.
dog, that same one, baby
Yeah,
was
they
so
did
smart.
have a. They
He
did.
had to
I
be.
didn't
Well,
say
he
that.
wasn't that smart if he wanted the bad crazy bee. Okay.
A lot of
Mm-mm.
men do. They like
Anyways,
crazy women.
so
Crazy.
Princess,
Super crazy.
yeah, we had to end up giving her up because at the time I was transitioning from houses and she tore up my mama ba- what it was the baseboard panel.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I got chewed out. And so that
That
two thousand
dog was
dollars was half
crazy.
off.
What you get one more.
Okay. I got
Crazy.
I had a chinchilla named Pikachu
Okay.
and was very exciting, very, very exciting. Um, he used to jump and hide in very tight spots, which I didn't know at the time, but I learned really fast because I don't know the books that I read about the chinchillas was not in that they can stretch themselves out like snakes, but
Mm.
they can flatten themselves and hide in very tight spots. And it will take you days to find them. So you want to be cautious with that and keep them on leash and get a big enough cage for them to run around. Pikachu passed of old age, but he was a wonder to our family. He brought so much joy. And we used to walk him like outside like a little dog. It was so cute. I do want to get another chinchilla. So they
Okay.
are so much fun.
So let's see. I had two German shepherds at one point, and they were both named George, and they were just like really. When we lived in California, George won. We had a lemon tree in the back of in our backyard, and I would go and pick the lemons off the tree, and he would see me pick the lemons off the tree, and he would jump up and take the lemons off the tree and put them in the bag. And he never punctured them. I never trained him to do that. He just saw me do it, and he just started doing it. And then I had a cat named Frisky. Along with when I was growing up, I tend to have dogs and cats at the same time. Yeah. At one point, I ended up with a dog and seven cats. So, but yeah. So we have time for one more. What kind of exotic animal would you have if it were not illegal? Auntie Janisha.
Oh man, this is a Siberian tiger. I always wanted one.
Mm. Auntie
Not
Marva.
legal and not dangerous. Yeah.
Auntie Auntie Marva.
I don't really desire animals because I'm allergic to them. Like I can't even.
Okay, but you had dogs and you
Yeah,
had snakes.
and it was miserable. It was miserable for me. They ran amok and they had a wang dang doodle every day, and I was miserable. I don't want any more animals.
She
I
said she
just
don't want.
I can't even wrap my brain around it no more. Like they do too much, and I be sneezing and coughing and hacking up mucus, and just I look like a panda because my eyes be black. I ain't got time. I don't want. Miss me with it, Pat, and find somebody else to do it.
How
Maybe
about a
there's hope,
penguin?
Auntie Marva, because
Get a
a part of
penguin.
my research was about the your bodies change as you get older, and I don't have allergy issues per se, but I didn't want something that might feed into it should something start. So a F1B golden doodle is actually what I'm getting, and they're actually bred. One of the best qualities is the low to no allergy situation for
Yeah,
the
but you heard what you
babies.
said. You said low to no.
Low to no.
Yeah.
That
I know
low
because
is the part that
because
would take me out. And it got
the no
golden,
is
meaning golden from
okay.
golden retriever. I don't want
I
parts of
know,
it.
but that's the thing. It's bred it out of them because of the two dogs that are
Of the
mixed.
poodle.
The no is their part. The low is your part. They actually are hypoallergenic, but the
Yeah. And
the tolerance would have to be you now.
yeah. And
So exactly.
poodles don't have fur. They have
No, no,
hair.
no, 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 no. Auntie, when we grew up, we had nothing but poodles. We had two toy poodles and a French poodle, all supposedly, quote, hyperallergenic, end quote, right? I was miserable. I would come in the house and mama would just be cussing. Why don't you just stay away from the dogs? They at our house. How do we do that? How I stay away from something that's at the house? How? How? My eyes used to be black like somebody took paint and painted rings around my eyes. My face used to swell up. I used to be coughing and hawking, and everybody in the house mad because I sound like a lawnmower. Go out the door. Why you gotta do all that? Because I'm trying to breathe. I'm trying to breathe. How about that?
Okay, Auntie Michelle.
Definitely a panda bear or
You grew
koala.
up with a panda bear.
She said a
I don't
panda
want
bear.
you. I don't want you. You can return the panda. I want a real live panda bear from over there China, and they trying to hog it. Talking about people got to pay all that money just to borrow one. China boo, but yeah, if I can get one to escape over here to me, they'll be well taken care of.
Yeah. Well, I can't decide between a panther and a wolf. Those are my two. I
Girl,
can't
about
decide. I really
see,
like to
that's
have
why
a
you don't need to be up there in Utah or wherever you at Washington. That's why you need to
Washington.
come down.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
I
You
really,
too. Mm-hmm.
I'd really like to have a dragon, but since dragons don't
A
exist,
miniature panther, yeah, but that's not illegal to have.
so.
A real panther, nah.
But ladies, guess what?
I
It's
Now
have a
it's
time.
I have a movie suggestion before we close out.
Okay, what's
Um,
your movie suggestion?
Outback. If y'all haven't seen it, it's a cartoon. It is hilarious. I love it. Outback.
Wait,
It's on Netflix.
isn't Outback that movie about the monkey that had that spread that
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No, that's Outbreak. Auntie, no.
oh
Outbreak. No, Outback is about these animals that are in a this guy and his son they're running this little spot showing all these dangerous animals in from it's in Australia, but it's a cartoon, and they break out, and there's a koala bear that everybody thinks is so adorable, and he is so toxic. His behavior is horrible, but the
oh
stuff that they get into trying to get back home because everybody it, it's great. It's great. It
oh,
is
okay.
great.
Okay. I'll see
You'll
if I
enjoy it
can
as an
find it.
adult, but watch it with the kiddies.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, everyone, we have come to the end of another show. Thank you for joining us. Have a great, blessed week. We will see you all next month. Sending you all lots of love and light. Peace.
Oh, and happy Earth Day month.
Oh, yes. Happy Earth Day month.
Love
and
y'alls.
make sure y'all set y'all intentions. This is April, and you can manifest very easy through this month. And it's just the
Hmm.
start, and you can dial off what you need to dial off, and bring and renew and rebirth and just draw in so much greatness. So set your
Yeah.
intentions.
And right
All
now we're
right.
still with the energy of the new moon, and she was
Yes.
gorgeous the other day.
And
If you
that is when,
caught it,
oh my gosh, it was so gorgeous. So
It
gorgeous.
was.
Yes.
Yeah.
but the
Absolutely
energy is still
beautiful.
with us. So yes, like Auntie Michelle said, set your intentions and work at it.
And
Do
don't
Yep.
let
that.
nobody disturb you. Go to your higher self.
Do
You
Yep.
can pull it
that.
together. All right.
All right. Love
All right.
everybody. We
Love
Love
you
out.
too.
you.